Welcome back, learners, to Lesson 32, Session 1's Independent Practice. You are working to prepare for area and perimeter of shapes. Now remember, in that first number 1, you had to tell me everything that you knew about perimeter. So notice they have the perimeter in the middle, and then they have the lines to the boxes. I'm going to go over some things that I drew, and remember, some things that I have may be different than what you have, but as long as what you have is about perimeter, that's okay. Notice I started over here. I wrote down to find perimeter of a shape, add the lengths. So if you have somewhere in there telling us how to find perimeter, then you've got the right information. In this one, I wrote perimeter is the distance around a shape. It would be fun as I can even draw a circle around the shape. So I remember to go around the shape. And then I have some examples. I drew a rectangle with the sides of 4 feet and 6 feet. This one's also 4 feet and this one's 6 feet. And I used the perimeter of adding all sides to get a perimeter of 20. Notice down here I did a 6-sided shape. Notice that I have 6 sides at 2 centimeters each. So I have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So we could skip count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I have a perimeter of 12. I practiced doing a word problem here. I wrote a square has sides that are 5 inches long. If I have a square that has sides that are 5 inches long, remember a square has 4 equal sides. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. And I got 20 inches. And in my last one, I also drew a triangle because we can find perimeter of all different types of shapes. And so to do a triangle, how many sides do we have? We have 3. So I would just add the 3 sides together. 3 plus 4 plus 5 equals 12. Okay, let's look at number 2. Write an equation you could use to find the perimeter of the rectangle. What is the perimeter? Well, let's look at, remember, perimeter goes around. You should have found 200. If you didn't find 200, let's go back and label the picture. Remember, we have to go all the way around the shape. If drawing the arrows helps, then go ahead and draw the arrows. It kind of helps us remember. Now remember, I started, oh, look at that. I actually started at this corner. Do you notice you can do that? As long as you add all the sides, you can start at whatever corner you want to. Okay, I started here. So my first length was 20. My second length is 80, and I can even check it off. Okay, I got 20 done, and I wrote my 80. Then this is my other third side, and this is my fourth side. So if I needed to keep track, I can check them off as I add them. And I know that 20 plus 80 is 100. 20 plus 80 is 100. And when I put the 200s together, I get 200 feet. Okay, let's look at the back side. Number 3. You had Xuan, I think is his name. I'm not sure. Do you guys know how to pronounce that? Remember, if there's ever a name you don't know how to pronounce, just pronounce it the way you want to and then keep going. So Xuan walks the path around the field shown. Notice that when I went to solve this problem, I drew my arrows. So I started in this corner and I drew his path. He went 35 meters, so I wrote 35. He went 50 meters, so I wrote 50. Then he went 35 meters. And then the fourth side, he went 50 meters. So when I went to add this together, I noticed that there were some numbers that go together more easily. Instead of trying to add all of these at the same time, I moved my numbers. That's commutative property. I brought my 35s together. So I have 35 plus 35. And then I brought my 50s together. So I have 50 plus 50. I rewrote it. Now, sometimes you can rewrite it, but this is actually something that you can just do in your head. If you bring your 50s together, you know it's 100. And if I bring my 35 and 35 together, I have 70. Then I bring my 100 plus my 70 to get 170 meters. So Xuan walks the path of 170 meters. Now, check your answer. So basically, what was I doing to figure this out? Well, I noticed that in my rectangle, I had 2 long sides. Notice the long sides. I'm sure most of you have seen a football field or a soccer field, and remember, it's got 2 long sides. and those were 50 plus 50 to get to 100. Then there were two short sides. I'm going to make it a little short line. There were two short sides, and those were 35 meters each. So I had 70 meters. And in order to find all the sides, I added the two long sides plus the two short sides, and I got 170 meters. Okay, remember, if there's anything that you need to fix, you can rewind or pause and fix your worksheets. And then that is it for session 1. I'll see you for session 2.